Sorry, that mic just had some problems, but okay. Restarting the introduction. Okay. So Matt is a figment of our imagination. He's not Rivers Cuomo. He's taller than Rivers and has time for poetry. His poetry transcends the quotidian, blending everyday observation with carefully selected overheard phrases, often overlooked details and memories. He reworks and reimagines cliches in pop culture, bending and twisting them into his lifetime work, which all starts with a pocket notebook and a Pilot G2 pen. Only a Philistine would call him a king. He's a poetic genius. He's Matt Proctor. Please welcome Matt Proctor to the stage.
Thank you, Ashley. Nobody has to clap. It's going to be like ambient. This is background, and then it's going to be chill for everybody while they're studying or doing their homework. Not an intrusion, or it's just like background music. So I'm going to read from my, I'm going to read some old stuff for everybody. This is from the 2010s. From my book, Myself Included, which is only available in Europe, in Paris, from my European distributors. It was too hot for this country. So like all, literature, they had to publish it in Paris first because, alright, so this is called Kombucha and Weed. I'm glad I'm here. Want some pop? Arrows of vision click through vectors of interest, basically costing me my job. Zev's up in the air, forcing his burrito party on us. Pawns scream late afternoon back into itself. Les terriblest enfants of them all. Splotches of leaves pause to consider, one after the other, the loft party's best kept secret. They've been having it 50 years and you just got there. It's pill in slow motion, hook shots tight to specify all depth. We're living in the double failure of what Columbia University, Dear Mama, like the Tupac song. We're living in the double failure of whatever better idea somebody had. We're living in the double failure of whatever better idea somebody had. Paid here to sit and functify the afterburn. I am trapped inside the tight room of my shirt. You rely on the canal to port me up the water gloss to an irreverent river. Plants jungle the sill. The bay window following the sun's every move. It felt like Soleil or some appeal to majesty. There's a disorder to the lower lip that is essential. A way the words have of tripping onto the scene, only to become its star. But I resolve never to know what one day truly means, only to falter into a fictional appropriation of said events. My so-called locality and the late paginations of silent monologue. Diary of an outtake. I read this at the Poetry Project class reading spring of 2017. I wrote it in my meeting. Someday the prologue will be over. Light held in escrow in scrawny apartments, a willow stolen lengthwise swaying to a shoegaze metronome. I die of night, a broken bohemian tacked to the baseboard pipes, fish wandering the ceiling, buttons crude in the burial soil. Enter a glossy parade, warped binders eating my 6th grade 1 centimeter at a time. There's a bird in a shoebox beaten with a hammer, an urge reaching a long-gone finger. Ghost clothes, just dust playing on a contact lens. Winter was up half the night fighting in the other room. I drank the block, turned right on red, gas moving into the key. I want non-sequential living, moments jump-cut into further moments. Silver rungs mediated by the glass of stars. Getting room-toned on a prepaid calling card. Let's hear our blood travel the length of the veins. Gritty cells tumbling like a can of whispers. Words sorry for teaming up that way. I dumb down into shocking grace. Be blank and leave an anonymous corpse. I am nothing but my own cooperation. Leave it out overnight and a singing appears. This is called Me as Fuck right now. Last night she knew the real meaning of profound. The under the surface one, opposite of superficial. We blissed out, kissed a bit, nothing major. Walked many miles to get home to find they'd taken down her blue awning, added another Nicholas Sparks book to the morning, but first my journal, a plate of frittata, less organized, more romantic. Phone call after the gym, and I'm him again, high on likability. Unless we clock 2 hours a day, I'm incomplete. Soon they'll be going to Beacon and Edge at the beach. White sailboats and the sun drawing her bikini on. Water slinks down shore to these halted resorts. The golf pants I just bought. And dyed in the wool Reaganites, stipulating the boardwalks. I want to describe something that listens. A perfect night like this one. Give me a person to miss and make it be you. Okay, this is for Rivers Cuomo. This is War and Peace. I want Philip to play Rivers Cuomo in the Weezer play. That's my dream casting. I think we should do a production. Yeah, all right. We'll do it. For Rivers Cuomo, War and Peace. Oh yeah. Let's rev it up, baby. Let's waste and break. Let's die till we die. Beauty never sleeps, only metabolisms. Red ears soloed like cups. The lady sat on her late proffering sword. I nexted it, instead wanting to repurpose the bright decals over my face. The channel where they kept sex. I requested another word, the whisper kernel. Hairline fractured in radiology, my gripes pitching songbird. Mom says she should have brought War and Peace. It's been so long. Freshly stitched, and now I go to Tolstoy's estate each spring when everything's drooling. We barely touched, or maybe it was just me. Had faster access to my parents when the sound blared and they died. People who knew how to forget years of being born and losing it right away. The way the foreign tongue is melodic, things trying to make sense. I have to go now. I have to go back to work. Memory plays favorites too. It's amazing how the world moves along, how just 3 years ago, or even two is so apparently stale. How I've been the same person fading in and out of style. How a beer in a can gets warm, then you put it in the fridge and it gets cool again but skunky. And when you try to drink it, it's gross. Bookshelf. Up in the old hotel where I'm calling from, the sweet cheek gone, the past recaptured, great days, journey to the end of the night, hopeful buildings seeking air, the unbearable lightness of being. Within a budding grove, the subterranean's beloved black spring, a season in hell, inferno, nausea, torpor. Friends, you drank some darkness. Through the looking glass, gravity's rainbow go Mrs. Dalloway, Madame Bovary, Emma, freely espousing the double dream of spring, the dream songs, the dream of a common language. Love uncut that April, talking, all's well that ends well, Crap's last tape. I wrote a book called Speed Chess, which I think was very underappreciated. It's all sonnets that I wrote as fast as I possibly could. Normcore armchair. Darkness locks up the day. A whole house is brought down on my head. Brawny and agitated. First specks begin to wander in from upstairs, December clutching for leaves as stadium lights power the snowflakes. I wasn't sure I lived the events described in your book before, but as I read it, I recognized it was me kept in bin learner's pages. I'll take a UB40 reggae cover any day of the week. Life is for coming up with theories about. Your economy failed, mine didn't. There's vanity in my sincerity. There's lipstick in my vanity. There's mom's clamshell makeup case waiting by the mini-mooned mirror. Form gives little cold beads a slide to ooze down. I could write lyrics for a not good band. Live in an apple, which is where I want. A bee is trapped behind my desk. It is dark. Where do they normally go in the dark? The self is the figure of judgment against the self. Midnight made of sound. Rain cleaning the wind made a joke in my dream. To break the tension, to renew the newness. Note to self. Drive like hell, you'll get there. 12 rooms, 7 people, mornings, evenings, night. Our teeth bleed from using the same toothbrush. 99 kids bunk next door in the Catholic school gymnasium. Bart Simpson's skull and crossbones skateboard, yellow wheels really grind. My small fern long dead, but still retaining some green. So I go on watering to make up for having let it die. What's cruelty in a world dependent on cruelty? A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the hand. This line is a physical sensation, something that rises or falls. 99 kids burn in their bunks. If anybody needs me, I'll be out to lunch. I hate my life. Can I write a poem to you? You seem like you deserve it. You have the aura of turkey, bacon, and avocado on arugula. My art is willful cognitive disobedience, even to my own function. If they delight in finding your wound and exploiting it, well, then pain too can become a kind of love. I don't want to come up till the roses hallucinate themselves into the air. Delmore Schwartz or Richard Savage, names dropped off the face of the earth. Beauty too is adaptable, like a wild swan sculpted in ice, sliding down its chair into the water. Big ones. Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill feeds into Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville Hotel and Casino, where Rick Springfield's guitar is displayed in a bulletproof case. Potheads are just parrot heads that don't go arrgh. A1A began to relate gaudy shades of pink turquoise to the Beach Boys' Kokomo video. Remote control cars, pow pow power wheels. Stacks of last night's art catalogs, just an excuse for the verbs to act in rapid transit. Bio-attachment of a pollinating drone. A mother giving birth to a Wi-Fi signal. Okay, I'm going to read from my diary now. And I might read some bio. Okay. 10, 3, 20-year nostalgia cycle. I think in sound bites trapped in the biology tomb, 7th Avenue breakdown SD cards. The Irish spending is low amid frozen margaritas. Gregory Corso's riding a bicycle at me, a deer in the headlights, all his belongings, keeping his things on the Buddha lawn in Tompkins Square Park. Oh my God, is that Daisy Fuentes? Let me go for it. Onboarding, Quad Cities, Gainesville. I bought a computer there in 2012. My ass on an imported futon. Then I slept in the books. The school was our ocean, learning in clubs, coming to your lawn, the Ramones on Howard, Al Pacino's halftime speech from a basement in the 90s, penned by Oliver Stone at Yale. Let's go before we get killed. I realized it was 3 years ago yesterday. Eddie Van Halen saved my life, David Lee Roth, etc., etc. Their music got me through my breakup, the pandemic, and living in Ohio. The floor was easy when I read Janet Malcolm. How can I walk with you? Cutting open the sack and draining the film into the Yeti. Coffin case loyalty rewards. We're lucky the cat didn't get a Sasora Keegan Keebler Blue Deluxe Escher Myriad Pyramids, Almanac Regressions, the best deal in town, food tours, afternoon of love, slight redactions, waking up from my heroin coma to cut my hair. It'll make you cry. Force majeure life changes. We never get out of the house or learn the identity of the killer. Ashley situates amongst a spray of white Sunnyside flower cups. Passionate, opinionated, Siskel and Ebert refuse to see Wes Anderson's Roald Dahl movies. Our brains are like two rooms next to each other in a hotel, a night hotel, across 103rd Street from Van Gogh Apartments, where Bill Haley and his Comets recorded Rock Around the Clock, eating steaks and big alligator boots facing the windows amongst Norman Mailer and Trojan warriors trying to run the show. Winning a minor league baseball award lasts all season. They chased him off the field into riots of leisure, the staggering tenements breaking to the ground in a huff. As long as I use my tongue, staying away from the sauce, practicing in front of an audience, putting millennial copywriters in a room, they close early, adapting Seize the Day for microcinema on the Upper West Side with neurotic heart attack tracks. Leave me alone so I can do that here. Let's watch a movie in your prose. I see athleisure in screens, physical reality blown apart by cyberspace. Chip on the Upper West Side changed with the era. Signature Pilates developing Pizza Hut in our condos. Old shoes were suddenly vaults of currency. Empty inside. Storefronts so expensive the government helped pay to maintain them. No radio showering us with consensus, but good behavior prosciutto, keto cooked. Why have Amsterdam, Columbus, and Manhattan excommunicated the universities from the island? Bathtub kitchens fit adults. He must get the sense there isn't much time left. Rivers Cuomo is reading War and Peace. I'll never edit the Poetry Project newsletter. It's why I started doing this. River Phoenix ODing outside the Viper Room. I always wanted to play at the Viper Room. Back on the airwaves, psychic swans peacock my throat. Happy Dean Martin impersonators in Central Park. Our suffering is real. It's not funny or interesting to watch as a play. There was a video of the stabbing. I didn't watch it. Running the show for years, creating a masturbation institution, Truth and Beauty, Drew Bledsoe knows Tom Brady's and Bill Belichick's pressure points, writing my 1-hour special, 27 wagons full of Great Lakes, burning river taverns in an aquarium on flat screens. The sound isn't working. On the Post, diatribing briny green floors of James Cameron and Park Row. This page inside a leaf inside my heart, capturing the sea in a seashell, natural-born killers versus true romance, no contest, scripted by Shane Black, Lethal Weapon, what's that one with Damon Wayans and, I can't remember, featuring Corbin Burnson in a small but pivotal role. Make sure the safety is on. Ashley looks like Cassandra from Wayne's World. Teal album, underwear, performing skits on the morning announcements. Good for the neighborhood, depending on who you ask. Ashley's been making these little whimpering noises, establishing bulkheads of poetry history on 109th Street. Part of the story written in this corner, eating Lidl chocolate-dipped donuts, croissants, German soft pretzels, 69 cents. I'm their teacher. They stole my business out from under me. Promoting the competition leads to a policy of isolation. She's my work family in the stupid politics of our time. The town has become so big it doesn't exist. Private transactions, circuit deliveries to people who stay home and order dinner, conduited to hometowns. Another campus for work this time. I'm not really there, but in extremis, being pulled in for service economy, pitiful weekends, humping hump day. My poetry didn't take anything by storm. Everybody's leaving. Swing coach golf left. They have to go. It's Saturday. Everybody's going to party and drink and do drugs. I work here. To correct the technique is economic, so fuck rich people. I do it wrong. I don't pay for classes. I have no training. I have no education. I went to state school for free. My teeth are falling out of my face. I went to a 24-hour grocery store last night. The event for next Tuesday is canceled. Books shift my personality mystically and responding to where you are. I spent my life saying out loud and realizing it's true. Only in that innocent moment could it have been possible for me to write your monograph as the students walk up the hill back to campus. Ashley's passed out from drinking cocktails in a can, 13% alcohol by volume, checking to make sure the cat is still here. Finally on the edge, I'm finally on the edge, I'm finally on the ledge of my life. When the pain is so big, when the tears won't even come, finally. I ate all the prosciutto. Ashley's eyes roll into the back of her head whenever she closes them, like the Undertaker. By the light of the, but I love the Undertaker. By the light of a napkin through a Radisson TV, playing Socrates galoshes down the highway as long as you live. They own the movie house, mortgage for business. We're paying them to shut up for the rest of their lives. A giant leap forward in the cost of living. I've watched a lot of people get promoted, not expecting anything. It's supposed to be that way. Nothing's cheap anymore. It's getting harder for me to live in the core of the profit center. The UN is universal neutral by the Hopper Bridge, falling into tennis bubbles. Martha, Marilyn, Norman Rockwell grew up in a building that looks like a prison school. Not at all one room, but on the Upper West Side, sandwiched between Riverside and Central Park. Tables makeshift with flower shafts and boxes of lemons, doing good deeds before fall. The museum is open. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going till like, is that, I mean, I'm here to do an hour, so I'm plowing. I'm plowing here. Doing good deeds before fall. The museum is open late tomorrow, 9 grams for $30 with free pre-roll, mangled by the mashed luggage, raging the stage over Roald Dahl adaptations. I loved The Witches in 2nd grade. Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason Slaughters Elon Musk, ruining the typewriter with my optic nerve tree, which I bought at the doll store with my green tambourine. Ted and Ron melting together, Smith Corona desk bricks in View Street, Jonathan Divine. I stretched to John Belushi, who was a serious actor. He took his music very seriously. I'm writing myself a receipt for this moment, bookkeeping everything that happens. The trash can says no. Nice big bed for wrestling. California King, you owe me the call. Fuck you, you owe me the call. Fuck you, you owe me the call. Submitting my poems for your zine. We are almond milk to capitalism, a play for my feast day, which might not have taken me here. Picking my name for work, I'd like to read the script that I wrote, getting blazed, jabbering on and on. Frankly, online, nobody calls me. My friends are all dead to me. Prince of the City, long overdrive, unfulfilling premises, charming my way into the ranks with burning relationships, never speaking to them again. My drug problem takes me to a study at Columbia University, the town where I grew up. Tree City, USA. The job isn't finished, so I can't go home yet. Lloyd Floyd at a doorway. If I'm gonna come up here, I might as well get paid for it. And the masterclass points. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. You do not get the certificate. They mean nothing. Kitties in the bathroom sink. Cuteness is evolutionary tactic, adding distortion to everything. Pizza Hut for the after party. Come to the after party, we're at Pizza Hut. It actually is a partner. Come on, everybody. Come on, people now. Pulling the rug out from stuffed animals populating my bed. Cavities ache for children's Tylenol. I smoke to feel everything. Nobody lives here anymore. You have to have the certificate. Thora Birch finally pasting the video. It only got 23 likes in 2 hours. They're willing to work with me. Senorita Analog Distortion. Do you have any mutuals with Surrey Cruz? Spider-Man kissing. She doesn't know what that is. Like Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst in an iconic millennial film image. The same songs are telling a different story now. Do I look hot for daddy? Was I a good slut for daddy? I bought my shoes at the grocery store. Ashley got a pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. Do you like free coffee? I go to the bank, providing a free hot meal for the art writers. Skinny fat, chewing on caramel mouthwash, sharp college, angst, nerd, post, grunge guitar. Rooftop access is every New Yorker's right. I wish I could write something deeply moving. Kitties in the bathtub, I'm eating a German pretzel. New Line Cinema Touchstone Pictures, rewarded at the Hit Factory. Picking food out of my teeth, missing the reading again this month. Abawakawa Puse Puse, supporting me financially, having an interest in my success. Keep business and personal separate. Reading Ethan Hawke's novel Ash Wednesday when I was in college, backstage by the Ghost Light. Worried it's going to fuck up my jaw. Renewed thy youth like an eagle 7 years later, twice as many problems. Clothes and gum guardian, prayers for repair. Extra sensitive dove, light green tag on it, crystal naps, snapping enamel molars. Blessed with supermarkets and great products. Rigor mortis stiffens my hip. If a dog's teeth get bad enough, they just put it down. I feel like I have a dog's teeth. Some years you have to just go through till tomorrow, night repair. Wish someone would take care of me. $4.99 a bottle. Saturday morning cartoons, shoving the calcium. Breathing smells like my fun. It must be genetic. An economy for 20-year-olds, the 1% of the 1%. Living on commercials. Plastic is killing us. Living with you is writing, but now I want to go to sleep. That bodega closes early, which is why we don't go there. Drinking the same bottled water as Tiny Tim. He interviews people who look like him. It should have been literary journalism, a slice of novel characters entering my mouth when nature calls. It could be worse if you just go for it. Maybe some good hallucinations will pop out. Weekly opium hibernation. 4 jobs should equal insurance. Like a Stratford tarot card, Groundhog Day, but it's 9/11. Emergency phone with imagogram. Dollar oyster happy hour freestyle on a current affair. Too much work when you're out of town, sitting in the bay. Fog 1 block from Central Park. Errands undone, work past deadline. Boxes left to unpack. Mandolin Chopin of Des Moines. Let's do what we came here to do. A clean bill of health. I was having a dream that I couldn't breathe. There's a cheeseburger attached to the dog, but I can't read it. The fumes of hurricanes pull us through our day. A late night for W.C. Fields meets W.B. Yeats. Star 69 Eric Roberts as Miss Lonely Hearts. Your Broken Tower, Franco's Hart Crane Rillick. An earlier screen adaptation for PBS American Playhouse. Hamas attacks Gaza on Yom Kippur. Why did martyr insult those people? Between Poets and Comedians is A24 a Zukofsky reference? I could have been friends with Anne Bogart. Now I'm buying her books online. Ray Allentrout comments she didn't think big publishers sign poets. I could have sold it for $1 million. The New York School was my arcade bar. You gotta spend money to make money. Freezing my sperm in case I die before I can reproduce. The water is full of my mind. Did you call me 3 times from an unknown number? Smoking and meditation. I get off on the pain, like Francis Bacon. This is beginning to hurt. I gave Vin Diesel oral. Johnny Cash was 71 when he died. John Ritter, 54. They died on the same day in 2003. It makes my heart hurt. Shoplifting, gum guardian, major surgery is required. It's too much work buying these books, explaining myself over and over again. Shopping is reading, add to cart. Her mother was a nun. She was into guys who reminded her of Jesus. It's all coming for my taxes. When I was a kid with this problem, I took an aspirin and it went away. Smallville, OC, Gossip Girl, An America of Trains, talking about it on your show, rolling by small towns on a hillside. I'm going to sleep hoping. Union Station was 9/11, but the real 9/11 happened within. There's nowhere else to go, manifesting Sausalito, Terrapin, Stinson. Malnutrition from caviar. We only lived here before it got expensive. A great place for people from all walks of life. Napping, mass transit. They don't have that in my hometown. Connected to nothing. Flat with corn. Breakaway glimmer corn. Middle relief in any or an Audi. She was a photographer with a fixie. We thrifted major cities, eating in the dining car, writing novels on Amtrak. Texting wages of suffering, flying car washes Southwest, Eisenstein theory essays, dirt road angulars, a John Hopkins book of Pope autopsies. Only a handful of 65 people were interested at all. The studio system films were hard, but I took them as I breathed. Anarchist signs on the dumpster when we sat on telephone poles sideways. Urban legends buried alive with tires. Denuded of enchantment. But with Central Park, it was flat in its square victimhood. A whiff of seaside, taking it easy till I got fixed. I prayed like a child, locomotive regret. It's a hell of a drug. Founding a planet is a hell of a company. Clarissa explains it all. Eureka's Castle, Boy Meets World. Rounding out the star crap gives relief. No flowers in this gray neighborhood. The Cantos have always been too expensive to purchase. Here's Channel Z, socialist newsprint cantos, typeset columns stand in for the sickness, shot in black and white to look like the front page. Am I sexually attracted to cheeks? His home has an airport where he flies every day. There's no Nobu in Orlando. A novel is a minotaur, a poem is a dog. Mercury fillings, Tristan and Ryan. Fist bump Rodney at Evergreen Terrace through the bulletproof glass. Alien biscotti inflames my gums. We do make love in the present. Marilyn Waldo door, danceteria pigtails, riots of sweet. It was just a nightmare, unseasonably cold, the first year of my life, and able to prove it. The first time I went to your apartment was November 9th. The first time you came to my house was December 4th. High on cocaine and PCP, I hear Ashley's sentences in my stash, a desert across the odds. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. That was amazing. And we're just going to take a quick break before we introduce Philip.
Yeah, there's one more.
Now?
Yeah, it's just right after that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hi everyone, thanks for sticking around. So next up, we have Filip Marinovich. Filip came to me as a postcard at the Central Park boat pond when my world was clouded with doubt and uncertainty. He wrought instant magic with his sharp wit as we frolicked through the brambles. His poetry surprises you at every turn, playfully weaving magic through each line. Known for works such as the epic Zero Readership or the Suitcase Tree, please welcome the Wolfman Librarian himself, Filip Marinovich.
Thank you, Ashley, and thank you, Matt Proctor. And thank you, Ashley Escobar, for asking us here. Does this sound all right? Yeah? Okay. Due to the rain, these works must be unveiled for many Ziploc condoms. Ziploc poem condoms for safer poetry. Good evening, Harlem. It's wonderful to be back here with you. I'm going to read some new works, and I especially want to thank the baristas, the Bodhisattva baristas, for their Bodhisattva prowess and joy. What does nobody remember? Oh yeah, this is from a sequence called The Eternal Recurrence of the 5th Grade Heritage Report, because that's one of my theories of form, that all form is an eternal recurrence of the 5th Grade Heritage Report. What does nobody remember? Dad, before I was born, made the Great Migration from Belgrade, Yugoslavia, 1973, to Cleveland, USA, 1973, and emerged in a new word I will always see. That word is no, and he made its character on his face, a mustache which he shaved when I was born to prevent chemical flakes from dropping on me. He absorbed them at the laboratory. I absorb chemical lakes now, a voluntary sponge of cannabis oil, caffeine, ginger, pomegranate seeds, rubies for an underground descent into libraries remembered as the stacks topple shelves on you. You close read accounts of people who made out between the rows of spines and wonder why you missed out on that particular right. Perhaps it did happen, and I can't grok it now. Like I can't grok how my parents are dying. My father of dementia, my mother of stubborn caretaking of him and neglect of herself, and ambient avalanche and sleeplessness all the same, and you telling me you are my caretaker, and me telling you I am your caretaker equally, and us idiots telling you I am your caretaker equally, and us idiot chefs out of Aeschylus carving each other into pie slices, not a cherry inside. Just a ship that wants to sail back across the Atlantic to Yugoslavia, which isn't there anymore. There the people were warm because I was a child then, and they loved to be loved when they gave me a long Milka chocolate bar or a box of Bayadera chocolates with the center a stripe of peanut butter fire. I must be hungry from hunger hallucinations, but it's only my father's migration I want to reverse, and I need to understand the implications of that, and I can't. As he told me in the 90s when I kept returning to Belgrade in the middle of the war, everybody's running away and you're running into it. Running into it when everyone's fleeing it. What is another word for that? No. That's it. No. No. No, it isn't. What then? It can't be. It must be. No. The other word for that is a phrase. The one who runs into the flames from a safe place to rescue who and what he can is named you, whoever you are doing that now. For rescue, rescue. Impossible rescue. May your name burn itself across this misty night sky over the East River. May it clear the fog. No. That is my job to do. That is my job to do. I can only perform the action, not the action fruit. If pineapples grow to cure you and me of momentary spasms of hatred for each other, may they grow quickly now from our pineapple tree throats and choke out our revenge cravings. And let breathe and gush forth the children breaths and pineapple juice heads we are right now at the death of summer, inception of autumn, where balance is tried on the scale pans, waving and creaking and found lacking utterly in balance. Then let's enjoy this asymmetry. Whatever it is, since this is the present, how we live and die and must be recognized before we can release and change it for the sky. But the sky will not be traded. We too in the sky wave at our former selves and laugh at how we once didn't know it is impossible not to be safe in the universe where all it is charged with change and loss and tossing hair and horsemane and ship and heritage country and inherited country. And Dad came over here to stop me from being drafted into the inferno Yugoslavia and succeeded, but could not rescue me from writing or from himself, his hands, his beatings, his orders and rituals of humiliation, forcing me to run up and down a winding red carpeted staircase when I cried at math homework from his screams, and all the stained glass windows of all various churches of multi-ethnic Yugoslavia broke inside me, and piecing them together into one whole new window of many depicted scrolls, with all their letters slashing at the gloaming, with light through the vowel telescope lenses, and light through the consonant microscope slides, and light through you and me as we lie side by side in the purple bed with the head raised so much fire between us, a bridge of silent shadow flames. So I have to get up and sit at this chair to tell you about it, since you already know it in your sleep, but will forget it waking, and we need all the reminders to wake, but they won't help us. Only our smiles will when we test them on each other to see if they're real. And when we stop testing, they are. And when we stop testing and let them bloodlet laughter show it's a real pair of smiling eyes we'll never give birth to, except for our conversation children. There's no cooing in the cave we tend to each other, so deep inside we're the only light. Ode to Eli Briskin. Where is Rabbit's eclair? Rabbit didn't get one tonight. Rabbit had to go all the way to 86th Street tonight to find a little corner of blueberries and bat around a butterfly in the first person, as Eli Briskin says in the brilliance befitting a new grammatical peak in the lepidopterologist grammar book of life into which we together write each other's names and accept the lepidopterolo gust of wind and the lepidopterologos snail breaking out of its shell to go butterfly in the air above the tiny corner of blueberries we share here far from our supermarkets on the Mars we made of forest fires, visiting us from Canada in the memory as ambulances drive through the UN building to get across the East River and rescue the red glare ligaments of all us gone people soaking there now, waiting for the return of the blue whales. The one good thing the plague brought and still brings to us, still scarred from the lockdown, each of us a door with key marks carved in our wood. So we step out of our coffin apartments to learn again how to burn together and let this delicious Monday night mist cool us off from summer blisters quick. Hair. Daddy, I ate pizza and juice. You ate angel juice, my little pumpkin? He talks to his non-existent little daughter all the time. If he hadn't not had her, he never would have invented her to speak to, though it's sad how invisible she is, with all her blonde, brown, and red waterfall tresses falling down over her forehead, and the queer joy of laughing together in the morning after no sleep, laughing the Geiger counters away, and the radiation and the marathon war paint, and the radiation again seeping through the sink since it's weeks and weeks away, yet always incoming into the cozy domestic bunker we live in, on the stage set of Così fan tutti at the Intergalactic Metropolis Opera Company, and backstage the little whippersnapper rages, waving the conductor's baton around and hiding it where it can't be found, so the conductor has to use his bare hands for tonight's performance, and grows a new bone baton from his left wrist to let the light force open itself outward, to let the pelican swoop through the open rehearsal window and shine the sunbeam through his beak, and to let the sunshine in as if we're trying out for Hair, the musical, and letting it grow all summer. Now let us show how dedicated we are in advance. Even if we get rejected, we audition for the audio of it, all the bardo of bardiovascular circulation free and hot blood mixing in us fresh as we bathe together in the communal shower, after backstage wiping the soapy foam off our breasts, kissing the wet into each other as the water dries and multiplies at the same time, and we evaporate and reappear singing on stage for the hole in the darkest year yet to open, and give us the late September sunshine test of pairing breath with ever more alien breath. Welcome, yes. Transmigration Mom. Transmigration Mom, you're always good against mean witches. You just blow air at them and they vanish away. It means you still think of him. Uncle Dragon, he was involved, so he still thinks of himself. You still think of him making your book. You still think of him, which is great, so that the baby feels there are many people who love him. So it's a great time to put everything behind and start anew. They brought a creek here to construct a creek for the baby. Poetry is exactly to get out of that idiocy of what other people think. We have good things coming. New life, baby boy. Whenever I see something pretty, I wonder what you would say. Wabi-sabi emerald of the sushi box frozen river spread, mercury and diamonds, and when you loved it, your birth at the Monongahela, Ohio, Allegheny confluence. Carbonated age, and that's how I spilled your grape soda into the sink, and that's how the shower warns me mercifully, getting staccato and gush right before it goes boiling with no scald guard. We live in an ancient building, this whole era, no guard for a thing, just bricks. And bricked up like this, we twist in bed, toward and away from each other, and accept the ceiling as a witness of our wetness, unexpressed between each other, except through cuddling as we regress to worship fetishes of self-infantilization. The dollhouse shelf where books fall off as it grows up tall and takes over the house we live in now, the flooded Central Park pondside pagoda cloud. Waterfall bicyclist. The main fact of my generation is that we were destroyed by AIDS and not destroyed. Where our parents had free love for consciousness, we had free love is death, death consciousness. Yes, it did kill us literally and figuratively, and we prevailed, though maimed, and we hobbled on, or didn't, and we walked on inside each other's living limbs as we stayed still in graveyard dirt and crematorium powder and watched the neighborhoods get bulldozed by wheeling pharmacies. All our cruising places now museums or waterfront condominiums. So you'll have to excuse us as we welcome the floods washing the plutocrats out of their glass blueberry popsicle towers with great glee, and yet swim out to rescue those who've lived till now with not one swimming lesson. Yeah, no, we don't. We laugh from beach chairs bobbing on the tide as a tidal wave takes New Jersey and dumps it down on all of us. And how sweet of Red Hook to end up in Midtown through the simple airlift of the incoming sea. I never saw something so great as that now from the stadium seating in the afterlife. Original donut holding a diamond in its center for the Yankees. Over Lake Zurich. Belgrade dinner table at Vladimir and Ivana's. We love the gay parade. We welcome gays. That's their business. What they do is free to them. I mean, I can't identity with it, but what you do in the piracy of your own home, as they say, as you say, as who says, exactly, shut up and pour the wine, Michko. I was about to tell you I'm bisexual, which I am, but your incessant talk avalanches down on me, and Aunt Ivana says, well, I didn't know you were all coming to dinner, otherwise I would have prepped. As it is, I have salami olives, and cold white wine Vladimir just brought in, and sliced bread and butter. It's fresh, that's all I want. And all of you here as I about face and go back to America 1 month before my planned departure, and I've only been here 4 days, and this is the 3rd one. I'm remembering this from a metal vulture above Lake Zurich. What does it say with its glittering money dragon scales to the plane? It says, stay in Belgrade. But I came back to be with my partner Seahorse in this New York. Now with ongoing plague, I don't want another vaccine, but here it comes, right from the cows' tear ducts. The tears of the grass fall on your lashes and you laugh. Make him laugh at that. Tell Yorick he's the funniest in his nakedness. We all have that bald pate stage. Just under the hair and scalp the grasses cover with their slick green salty streaks of kelp. Are you really leaving tomorrow? Filip, my cousin, asks. Yes, he shares my name. Filip is very common in Belgrade. Yes, I am. And why are you? And how is the horse nebula still supporting you? I don't know. I'm here for 1 night with you, and all you care about is money and how it comes, and who it falls on as a shower of shiny United States quarters plummets on us, as in the air raid days of spring 1999, when the rooftop parties raged in Belgrade to welcome the bombers of the United States, thinly disguised as NATO, same as now as they advance on Moscow and are oh so surprised to be stopped by a matching rival empire of fascist cops, out to get their property back, though it isn't theirs, though no property exists. The massive, unconsensual hallucination brings us back to fists and Minuteman missiles, import-export United States business, the traffic in warheads comes back to haunt the dock it departed from. What a shock. What shock. Everything is green health as you swig the balanced smoothie of kelp, seaweed, lingonberries, jargonberries, and guava from the high shelf connected to the mouth by a long straw plucked from the scarecrow with the caribou antler candelabra crown, where its head should be, where its neck stops over Lake Zurich now. Letterbox sonnet. Then again, it just might be letterbox leopards, letterbox leopards, letterbox leopards, letterbox leopards, letterbox leopards. Just leopards leaping from a brass antique letterbox in the lobby of 25 Tudor City Place. Oh, what an address of luxury lumens, Luku, wolf, overthrow of all the senses, displacements, letterbox leopards, whisker sweep away all pretense, leaving you with only genuine kid ground pretend. Letterbox leopards, here comes the turn, and yet all of us Gen Xers died of sarcophagi lesions. We became very Metropolitan Museum of Stolen Egyptian Temple of Dendur legions, and got lost in the letterbox with the stained glass fracture prisms to drop postcards into, with only one thought: free the leopards from what you thought, so you can be thinking beyond thought. But dogs are invited to the Halloween party. He has no teeth, so he won't bite. Well, he has no sight or hearing, so, oh wait, Linus, that was jerky, sorry about that. Doggy, 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 dodgy, 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 doggy, so dodgy, dodgy, doggy, so dodgy. That was dodgy as dodging bumper cars in Belgrade. Every single experience you've ever had, you must now present through your inside-outed veins, or else it's not literature of voice to distinguish you from a sea of other voices. Oh, commodify me. So I know I'm speaking, I mean the fact that I was a walking door shows you I'm speaking to no one in particular, not even one dog owner, not even myself who owns no dog, because I am joy. Why joy sees no self to see with, only joying. To the bebeasting of the pairs of us going up the arc ramp into McDonald's for deportation, not murder. Oh, how pleasant and American and unfascist in the Trumpen bunker the lawyers laid for orange madness. The Easter egg type of thing. And real concerts is what I'm concerned with. Labyrinth, 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 labyrinth language. Labyrinth, megalish, bandage, smith. Rabbit doesn't have any more white t-shirts because Rabbit ripped them all. Ha ha ha. Rabbit is going to rip all of Seahorse's jailbird shirts, so Rabbit has no more Connecticut sense memory triggers to fall on. Oh, it's in Rubber's Thinkers. Rabbit is a fast shopper. By the time Seahorse is done, Rabbit is already by the telephone booth pitting plums and feeding them to a red deer who just wandered in off the Robert Kennedy Bridgeside Piers. Yes, we do steal power bars from the line. Because it's your life, it's hard to see your light. And even if mom kills you in your dream again and pretends she didn't do it and yells at you from upstairs for accusing her, through the no walls and by the banister, with the upstanding radish hand holders, you are still here in Portuguese spoken over the radio in a percussive conversation packed with syncopation. Crayons for dear mama cafeteria. Cafetorium, I'm trying to decline the verb. To drink yourself silly with coffee in the book-a-boom of Midtown and book the boom for an interview. So it will cool down and not become the atom bomb. You don't want to end your time, end your end time with. Your end time is just flourishing. Why would it end now? Oh, glorious. Oh, tarnishing. Oh, raving turpentine, slick and glaring on the canvas of paint splatter, standardized daring. The paint spraying from your jugular microphone stand, where you grew it in the center of your living room, to teach you how to dye and diet and dye the bleached curtains purple, to restore the fragrance lilac to our 1 hour bedchamber night, just outside the zone of falling flack. Satchel Belgrade. Going to get vaxxed for the 5th time would be so much better if I could look forward to Belgrade beer with friends out of the brown glass bottle, fresh pulled out of the confluence, Sava Danube, chugging those foaming friends down and hugging each other. The bubbles we are, the bubble telescopes, never to be completely plowed under by the reaper barges drifting down the whirlpools. What did you say about Daddy? I'm done. Dark green scrubs will do me right to get back down to this moment. The streets are walking gym tights, showing all their atonements, with the cheek to fill all your teeth and make them whole again, for the biting down on bituminous vitamins. Yeah, I have already left the area, but here you are again, filing into CVS, a whole line of the caterpillar chorus of you, unpacking the pink satchels dangling from your boss tooth. Jerry would speak through the pluperfect medium of freak and say the things not allowed anymore through me, seated in CVS to play my clarinet with the ancient Danube shore reed, confidence never expiring through all the shaking and pharmacy waiting, folding chair for the roller coaster ride of up, down, up, corkscrew, spider glide through defense against the latest biological warfare, against suicidal humans seeking car fare to the moon. Stacy, did you work the one day? The waits are tremendous. Get in line now. Yeah, we already sang. When was the last time you sang? I don't remember. Are you doing your vaccine in your right or left arm? I forgot to check in, so can we just cancel the whole thing and go home with nougat, Christmas balls, candy, and become an evergreen tree? Apollo avoiding Daphne, fleeing her, and the reparations she demands with her laurel dagger, sticking through his red jogging headband, forehead boulder. Ode to Sotin. None of you know who I am, and I'm going to be talking about me, and that's weird, and the 10,000 things will meet us, meeting each other, mask on mask, with dandelion fuzz falling off our faces to show who we were, who are now stasis and fur and furless skeletons in the severe afterward. Are, were, and hereafter. Stir, stir, skeletons, winterward. Mask unmask, we climb each other. Mask comrades, laughing through our webbing as we spider upward through our silk shooting gallery, and galleon, and freeze tag. Feral children, we were running bases, and now we're in the Century Gym in the basement Riverside Olympic pool world of no one can touch us. Even if Jacques the lifeguard got electrocuted in the pool, he's alive, a medicine man who will guide us out of chlorine to the real salt tide. We are alive, we're alive, we're alive, we're alive, we're alive, we're alive. You separate and are a reminder. You who are you who are separate are a reminder, remainder. There rinsing yourself off in the beachside shower. You are death. Let us dispense with suspense. And there we will see your soap foam is on us and makes us hold together as long as we can, a loose kind of glue we can be mobile in, and send the guards of our fear away from us. We are Zen chorus men and women and gender binary breaking members of the Comrade Chorus of vapor banners moving through cloudless congregation as clouds through cloudless congregation as clouds, though invisible, and singing out of tune, the sky tunes us back into view, as we are clouds in the clear blue sky without a hint of cloud. So will you be, you be, you be, you be, you be, you, and now, members of the Comrade Chorus of vapor banners moving through the cloudless congregation as clouds, though invisible, and singing out of tune, the sky tunes us back into view, as we are clouds in the clear sky, blue without a hint of cloud. So will you be, you be, you be, you, and now. The faces poke up through the punctums. This is for all you Roland Barthes fans out there. The The faces poke up through the punctums. My chanting has to do with music as it's happening to you. Even dashes, periods, and comma cola fizz up through me when singing starts to bumble inside me. I try to make it synthetic, electric, strophe, anti-strophe, seesaw merriment. Even alone, it's entertainment and its opposite. It goes up, peaks, plateaus, abysses out, comes back up, floats. Blue Crayola, capital letters, mailed to pen pals in capital cities I've never been to. When you write aloud, it screws closed the jam jar of interior chatting, chatterboxing into today with now, the owl. I read aloud any part of my work. There is nothing I won't make myself read, no matter how shaming of myself it is. That self is a continental shelf, emptying out its self-emptiness, a self that empties into stream, river, sea, ocean, being. Dragoning onward through doesn't matter. I will answer the question. The first thing that starts out of the family that's history, the perspective of lit kid exiled from city and so central to its citizenry, the faces showing up along the punctums, the faces poking up through the punctums. Ouroboros brothers and Ouroboros sisters are of the today order. Urobrow is an eyebrow hat. Urobrow is an eyebrow that goes circular, halos the whole body with protective brunette glistening fur. The snake who eats their own tail is the you and me who are neither male nor female, but airmail rather, reaching war parts of the globe unreachable by any other transport vehicle but the word. And its word-swored, blade mirror chords, cutting up the air and rearranging it into a clean we can breathe while participating, and so the redemption of catharsis into radicality, performance, ritual, vehicle, and so Greek, amphitheater, big ear for all citizenry to be seated in, and no slave economy as there was in Greece and the United States, and everybody welcome, and what kind of utopia, huckster, husk of corn are you? Babel playing tag with the wind, wind and tag under the linden body bags hanging now, as humanity decides to suicide before climate can complete its revenge against us. Who wins the playoffs? The hauntological Waffle House Theater. That is not a novel, that's an epic. As soon as you're at sea with problems, you're Odysseus battling phantoms, so much realer than the real, and you're the bottom to them, and how do you feel about it? I'm going to read it in Serbian, enjoying itself in the park. What is the it that enjoys? Dunno. Transgenerational experience bleeding through the syllables. Warp, woof, woof, warp, warp, woof, woof, howl, 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 war, war, woof, 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 warp, 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 the time-space mob of krish, lom, krish, and lom, wreckage and breakage. Is there a difference? In the Balkans and on planet Earth, so many varieties of damage, the language must show discrepancies? Oh yes. Subtlety among the ruins, kablooey, transgenerational experience bleeding through the syllables. Transmissions from the telomere fray party, telomere spiel kegger, telomere spiel keg, telomere cat whiskers, prairie shivers, grass slithers through whisker caskets bigger. Teela equals body, mir equals peace. Telomere equals body piece, but not body in pieces, and so body in pieces sewn up for forensics to discover falling against you gently as a pickpocket sky, turns your throat inside out to find the dollars hidden in your voice. For your travels and the cash asteroid belt under your waistband pants for the plane from New York to Belgrade, New York, a place you will never return from until you die and are beamed to the gallows vaudeville stage, floating now above you in the sky, where you never had a daughter, you had a quartet of books and called it a nuclear family exorcism plan, but they won't recognize it at the insurance scan. Nevertheless, there we, I, who, you, and we, I am, the I ams with barbed wire surrounding them, gems, the transmigrational choir loft burning and lifting off to Pluto, to ski those and sled down those 10,000 foot, or is it kilometer, mountain slopes of ice on Pluto. Imagine how it cares for its demotion to a planetette. Oh no, oh, Earth is not even a planet anymore, but a war garage. Just shoot a few nukes and everybody's gone. Even the rich New Zealand bunker plutocrats crap themselves off the planet in the new anti-gravity brew, come down to suck us off the planet. We demanded balance, but never gave it. I wonder if we can talk about it more in the UN General Assembly of Death. Asses of all sides waving our flags, our skins inside-outed by ourselves as sleeves on a sweatshirt too big, so worn to bed to double as sarcophagus bread if we get hungry and eat our sleep, biting it red. I want to dedicate to this to the high school I went to before I came to Columbia. This is for my friend Dan Sofar. The Altitude High School. Remember when we had a penis in the Altitude High School? It was only one penis, but it was enough for us. Kids today are so ungrateful. All these penises everywhere, and so one forgets how meaningful, how very meaningful. How meaningful? I don't know. I don't need mine anymore. It just kind of hangs there like a scryer's wand over a minefield, trembling for water. But what kind? Spring water, Avion from a minefield, bubbling Perrier from a landmine. You will be mine. Please be mine. I've gone back to humility now. No more penis. Goodbye, one solitary penis high school. I remember your ruby ridges, uncircumscribed, yet pulled back, belonging to my first boyfriend, Mike. 18 years old today, legal as my life has never been. I, of the outlaw status, solitary eye seeing only one penis through my cyclops monocle, daring all to challenge me at the debacle of Altitude High, where we of the student lobby parade through the Horse Barn Theater at the fall back to school dances, stomping away to Groove is in the Heart by D. Light. It was only the fall of 1990, but already we felt a stirring and a stiffening, and knew the one strappingly enormous, diminutively briny Saltimbanque member antenna of our school would become the receiving rod above the Horse Barn dance hall roof and absorb the radio frequencies that would soon bring us the red and spleen green lumberjack crisscross graph work shirts of Seattle, flapping in like airborne proletariat mosh pits with cerulean blue docked Martian feet as we triumphed in the impotent feats of our adolescence, discovering how to jerk off 4 pricks at once, 2 with the hands, 2 with the feet, 1 more with the mouth, and 2 more with the asshole's puckered wow. We forgot how to count, but we knew how to mount by the end of semester 3. Yippee! This now then is totally called graduating. Wounded in the Pepsi bottle. But you do fill with Daffy Duck antibodies to escape the hunter Elmer Fudd and his elder troop of blood-hungry banshees entering the Magnolia Gate from the other way around. This is the museum of no sounds, but it's not silence. Yet silence is around if you want to waltz yourself into the office hours ground. We are definitely not going to get paid and not allowed to call it volunteer work either. Circling the track of Great Lawn Central Park, a blue crayfish claw poking up out of the waters of the moon card, cooling and warming alternately with every step and lap of waves across the ankle Achilles. The hectoring Trojans pave Rome late. The world's going to Halloween parade. There's not much I can do about that. Why don't you work with them? You're one of the three. I'm circling the track where Paul Simon played 1991 Rhythm of the Saints. And Mom and Dad wouldn't let me go. I just had 3 moles ripped from my face. 3 red rails of stitches holding together my Frankenstein visage. Today, Paul Simon will never come back here to play. Instead, you have the pine tongue collaborating with your sap interior to make a syrup so bitter it burns you out of remembrance into the dark green water fountain satellite dish, beaming in signals through the labyrinth of blood dishes dishing about you and your friends. When you were babies, indestructible, immortal, and famous, who could do anything? And then history abducts you and throws you in the dumpster of remainders, and that's where you don't find me today. But look above that, into the phoenix tidal wave of fire spray. That's just one of my wings. When from my friends I separate and play, open my own present memory gates with this thumb piano I bang on to keep away machine guns of the United Strafes. This is for Matt and Ashley and the delightful delirium they invite me into. I'm Confluence Homo, and this is my Riverside confessional whirlpool. Going to the Nomad Whole Foods to feel normal. Riding your condom zucchini practice cock to feel normal. Eating your Entenmann's guava ass roll to feel normal. To feel perfectly normal in the ficus of Valley Home earthquake secondhand smoke. My mask is over my heart. It is not poems by Pierre Riverdee. I wish I could be lucky, Pierre, between the two of you dog lovers, but I'm replaced in advance by your cocker chihuahua. Come on, let's find us a low tree to make out in free. A tree growing lows, low fruit that comes from blows to the ego, like Amazon delivered the wrong book on the eve of my reading. It was my book, but instead came the detective thriller, Agent Underground and his hauntological weathers. If only it was called that. Mortician said it was not pills he was taking. So what not pills are you popping, I ask. His response, pills with knots inside of them, extracted from my shoulders by long-distance massage from the attending Sisyphus boulders. Belies a certain confidence like a chicken body with an owl scoper tail, an owl man, a man with an owl head from Kansas makes people happier. And so going to a thing and doing your rapping, you are the tree, trim yourself before everybody and fall down. It makes the holiday, laughing, owl, 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 no man there, only owl, 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 bull, owl. And yet, the one who wakes up under the tree has to get out the axe, go to the mountain, cut down the pine tree and bring it back to the space station before the shield doors are closed for the night against the deadly contagion of north wind overbite. The low tree dropping its fruit and your forehead sweat beads, the only seeds flirt as they grow into beings. You don't know, but will now soon. You're becoming them by leaving your room later and later every evening in the hollow glow blue bathrobe swoon as a towering medical syringe drops its serum bead fruit and the metal shutter and the other shutter. There's so many shutters to close. You still can't keep out death cows, snowy pink spotted owl body, udder, squirt, squirt. The boots are really funny. When you walk barefoot through a minefield, money of old men flapping against the north-northwest hawk handsaw interface throne wind armrest. All right, I got two more. I'm giving you the two more warning, which is traditional. Actually, if you look it up in the poetry dictionary, the poetry dictionary of phrases, under two more, you will find the two more warning is necessary to keep the audience from hanging itself on the impromptu gallows of the self. Thank you so much for being here. This is for my grandpa, my poetry teacher, Filip Marinovich, who was a Yugoslav partisan Nazi killer, and I love him very much, and I feel his spirit everywhere. Kalemegdan. And you would say when we were walking Kalemegdan Park, sometimes I wonder if I'll die before we ever see each other again. Now you're dead and I'm alive. I never thought I would survive your death, especially right after it. You couldn't come to the Serbian expat party in Paris, you said. Go on without me, and walked away on silver shimmering crutches. A few weeks later, I find you behind a white silo, shirtless and muscular, taking apart a silver machine, and we walked up the winding stair around the white silo, laughing. If you're still alive, I should be spending more time with you. How come nobody told me you're alive until Grandma, laughing, asked, "Where's your grandpa? Check behind the white silo." And I did, and you were laughing, taking apart your machine. I want to be the machine you take apart so I can stop fearing pain and joy of seeing you in dreams and feel your flesh. But you're all ashes now, in an urn in Belgrade. I return to only in sleep, again, exclaiming, I can't believe I came back. I promised myself I wouldn't return after your death. But there you are, laughing behind the white silo, gathering me and family beside your former sickbed, and sitting us down to eat bread you won't try. Gold light from your eyes, better than bread. I want to fast until you come back, or I come to you, but hunger striking for immortality would be foolish. I could join you faster. Could I? I don't think I could, unless I won't do suicide. I'll follow you up the white silo stairway and say, I can't believe I came back to Belgrade. I promised myself I wouldn't, and yet here I am on Upper West Side Manhattan, rolling on a futon, up on the web. Svetlo oko pilota, peščane plaže i vukovi u glagolima, vučija so pod lanovima, domi vina bela, gotova, čao, dobro večer, kako ste, ja sam Fili, znači poljubac na grčkom, živeo ja i svi što su me naučili, šta i kako i ko i o noćnom životu i o Jadranskom moru u kojem sam plivao s njim, dok mi je pričao priče o mornaru Popaju, kako je zapušio uši sa vaks da ne bi čuo sirene i njihove pesme, smrtonosne, koje tonu mornare i sve. I onaj koji je rekao, oženi se da se ne ubiješ sam u 4 zida. I onaj koji više nije s nama, nego svuda, u plućima, u udisanju, u izdisanju. Deda, deda, ded, deda. I'll follow you up the white silo stairway and say, I can't believe I came back to Belgrade. I promised myself I wouldn't, and yet here I am on Upper West Side Manhattan, rolling on a futon under a triptych I painted of you in Central Park when you died. I want to grow pastel crayons through my fingers and do another and another until you come back through the oils and sit down at the table and we eat bread together and laugh as the white silo crashes through our window. All right, this is my final poem. This is for the various wizards who were kind enough to invite me into the space of Aegon when I roamed here in the 90s and the aughts and now. School of Silencers. The dean made the announcement for your funeral today over email. No flowers. Here at AWP Tampa, it matters. Oh, excuse me, I didn't know who I was sitting with. This will be awkward, honey, to take me to the opera with. Who was it who told me, none of you have the moral authority to write political poetry? Who does, a student asked. Stefan Mallarmé, you said. A decade later, your poem was in an anthology of political poetry along with the poems of your peers and students. Moral authority is taken, not given. But how you poisoned us to make us find that out. Or we found out our own way, whether you wanted us to or not. Or some of us did not and lie buried. How you plugged your ears with your fingertips and yelled la 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 as I tried to tell the class about Gertrude Stein. How she was not just existential angst, as you called her, but eros, empowerment, female, verbing, replacing the phallic noun horde of war. You did not want to learn, and you humiliated me when I tried to learn and teach publicly at the seminar table, the butcher's chopping block, and I refused to be your pig slop. I refuse still. And now everyone is competing on Facebook to see who will mourn you more. Oh, how can we outgrieve each other in this blue and gray hollowed out gourd of a planet? It really matters. At AWP Tampa, it really matters even more. Palm trees knock on your door, waltz in and join the orgy. Wait, let me wipe the chlorine out of my eyes, or is that poetry? The recently deceased never would have even come into your consciousness, O friendscape, had I not experienced their opus so voluminously at the beach clam bake of the nerves of Rex Tyrannosaurus. Rex. Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison. Now the student body will huddle together in shock, and no one will dare say a word about how you mentally abused us. I never told anyone except my terrible Lacanian analyst, Onan, about how at the graduation party for a class, I offered you a fresh spring purple tulip I plucked from one of the campus gardens as a peace offering, and you took the flower from my hand in your kitchen and whacked me with it on the left shoulder and said, "Wham! I take away your powers." I was angry not at you, but at myself for believing it for a moment. I have no power for you to take away. Power can only be taken, but you can't take it from me with a flower. I'm going to send you flowers. Not the ones that grow from the earth, but this one, this mauve roarer that grows between my phone and fingers. Send flower, send flower, send flower, send. Rest, dear teacher, I miss you, and remain yours in the idiocy of our cosmic occupation, in this ancestral infirmary of syllabic negotiations and disintegrating lungs in cigarette fumes of the tobacco saunas of our rooms. Goodbye, dear wizard. No power for any of us when we all rejoin the breath and are not separate from it as bodies, as wind, as flowers, as gyms, full of stunning young new gymnasts testing out their limbs in the absence of our limbic systems. Refreshments will be served following a short service for the unheard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. That was beautiful. Give it up again for Filip Marinovich and Matt Proctor. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you have a lovely evening. And thanks to everyone at Dear Mama for helping make this happen. Thanks.